All right. We have some spicy news today from Bungie in their Twid article. They give us gunsmith focusing. So you're going to be able to focus gunsmith engrams into specific weapons, and they're giving us a few more news sources on how to do that. And on top of that, there's some more news that we're going to cover. We'll get into that in just a moment in regards to the Checkmate Crucible playlist. Gunsmith Focusing enters the chat. Starting in Season 23, next season, Banshee-44 will offer focusing options for select Foundry weapons. These are the first four. We got Hake, Omlan, Vice, and Suros. Gunsmith Focusing is designed to offer players a way to chase after their dream roll of older Foundry weapons while reducing the ever-growing size of the legendary world pool. So if you've ever been searching for those god roll weapons that come from Gunsmith, which there are some actually really good ones, he does those weekly rotations where he has random weapons. Sometimes there's a good one sitting in there, but now you're going to actually be able to focus for these and actually be able to target in on some of these really, really good weapons. So I'm actually pretty stoked about this. What weapons will be available? Obviously, that's the most interesting part. We're going to go through the list in a moment. The select focusing options that Banshee-44 will offer are for weapons released from Season 16 up to Season 19, which means that these weapons are at least 4 seasonal releases old. These weapons will no longer be obtainable from Legendary Engram World Drops, and instead will be only available from Gunsmith Engrams and Focusing, so keep that in mind. You're not going to get these from World Drops anymore. Season 23, Gunsmith Pool and Focusing. Suros has got the Cantata 57. It's that arcane cannon. This thing is super good in PvP and PvE. It's got excellent rolls. We've got the Syncopation 53 here. We've got the Fug You Sniper right here. I know that's not how you actually pronounce it, but that's what I call it. We've got the Staccato Scout. This is super good Solar Scout. We've got the Pizzicato SMG. This thing is very beast, good SMG, especially if you could focus and get the exact roll you want. We've got the Fioritura 59. I believe that's a sidearm. Under Hake, we're going to have the Palmyra B, the Perseus D, the Ragnhild D, the Enyo D, the Boudica C, and the Lodbrok C. Under Vice, we're going to have the Crate Auto Rifle, the Redback Sidearm. We got the Funnel Web SMG, the Lunalata, Taipan Linear Fusion, and the Jarararaka. And then under Omlan, we've got Snorri, the Fusion Rifle, Typhon, Ogma, Galoo, Amit, and the Orvandal Fusion as well. So a lot of good weapons in there. I'm sure a lot of you out there have acquired these weapons at some point in time. You've used them, and the ability to focus them is actually pretty sick, because now I'll be able to get the god rolls of these pretty fast and efficiently, or at least it would seem. In Season 24, we are planning to update this list with Season 20 weapons for existing foundries, as well as adding a new category for field-forged weapons. So this system is going to be evolving with time. Each new season, they're going to be building on Banshee's 44 crafted engram focusing, which is actually pretty cool. Next up, they say Gunsmith Focusing will also be replacing Banshee 44's 6-count weapon selection. Got it, so no more of those random rolls there. The following weapons will be moved out of the world pool. These will be not available from the Gunsmith Engrams or Focusing, but will instead be occasionally available from Xur instead. So no longer in the world pool. Randomly, these will be at Xur if you're looking for these weapons: the Contingency Plan, the Legal Action 2, the Number, Memory Interdict, which is still one of the better heavy grenade launchers for PvP, the Pleiades Corrector, which is a terrible scout rifle, the Deicide, the Vision, the Stochastic Variable. All of those will be available at Xur. How will these weapons rotate? Banshee-44 will offer 2 foundries at a time, i.e. like Suros and Hake 1 week, and then it'll rotate. After each daily reset, one of these foundries will rotate out for another, effectively allowing each foundry to have the spotlight for 2 days in a row. For Season 23, the rotation schedule looks like this. Day 1 is going to be Omlan and Suros. Day 2 is Suros and Hake. Day 3, Hake Vice. Day 4, Vice and Omlan. So they'll be on a weekly rotation, each getting 48 hours of spotlight. After the 4th day, the rotation repeats itself. This is subject to change as we add more foundries in the future, so that seems pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that. The only issue is that how much does it cost, obviously, and will we be able to get very consistent Gunsmith Engrams to actually focus these weapons at a high rate? How much will they cost? Gunsmith Focusing costs will be in parity with how much Focusing Ritual Weapon costs, so you'll have to get 3 Gunsmith Engrams and 5,000 Glimmer. Now, 5,000 Glimmer is pretty easy, but the 3 Gunsmith Engrams can be difficult if you don't know right now. It's hard to get those. How can I get Gunsmith Engrams? We are aware that ranking up Gunsmith Reputation alone is not the ideal way to earn Gunsmith Engrams. We have taken that into account and have decided to include more ways to obtain Gunsmith Engrams. Ranking up Gunsmith Reputation lost sector completions. So that's nice. So not only do you have the reputation stuff like we've been doing, and you have lost sector completions now. Normal is going to give you 20%, a legend 40%, and a master is going to give you a 60% chance at getting a gunsmith engram. So you're going to want to farm those master lost sectors, not only to get those exotic armor pieces you want, but now these engrams will actually be very, very well utilized. So that's actually pretty cool. And then free roam chests have a random 20% chance of dropping gunsmith engrams. Interesting that they tied those into lost sectors and free roam chests. So that's pretty cool. Let me know your thoughts about that. I feel like that's a very cool overhaul to Banshee-44. I love that. I love the ability to focus these weapons. Looking forward to getting a variety of different god rolls that I haven't been able to acquire just due to the way that Banshee is set up right now. And then we're going to go over all of the Crucible stuff that they talked about because they're doing a huge overhaul to the Checkmate playlist. Before that, they did mention that the Trials Adept this week is going to be the Adept grenade launcher. This is the Cataphract GL3. This is easily one of the best grenade launchers in the game, so I would highly recommend trying to grab a roll of that. It has a really good PvP roll and it has a really good PvE roll. I'll be bringing you an updated guide on that shortly. Next up, we have Checkmate Weapons Update. For Checkmate's initial weapon tuning, we wanted to make sure our mid-range primary weapon options had a bit of room to breathe. So we balanced the other weapon archetypes somewhat conservatively. So they're talking about in regards to hand cannons, because obviously hand cannons are probably the most popular archetype in general. We did this because in early playtests it became obvious that a sandbox with dramatically reduced uptime for special ammo and abilities introduced a new issue to the game. With most of our counters no longer able to see consistent play, it enabled fast time to kill, primary weapons that operate at the extreme edges of either close range or long range to dominate. Diving with submachine guns and SMGs became increasingly hard to deal with as players learned that other primary weapon options could not kill as fast, and our mid-range options struggled to compete. I didn't play a ton of Checkmate, but it sounds like people were just running around aping with SMGs and sidearms. Similarly, when we reduced the lethality of close-range primary weapons to bring them more in line with our mid-range options, scout rifles became oppressive without the threat of sniper rifles to keep them in check and prevent players from engaging at extremely long range. In addition, we want to avoid initially making any extremely jarring shifts in TTK. For example, things like 140 hand cannons taking 4 shots to kill across the board. That would be brutal. So we limited how much we could move the time to kill in general. After seeing Checkmate in the wild for a week, we saw that there was a substantial gap between hand cannons performance and the rest of the primary sandbox. So while keeping our original goals in mind of allowing mid-range weapons to shine in this mode, we are making a limited set of balance changes designed to narrow the gap between pushing faster TTK primary weapons back into dominance. For example, submachine guns and sidearms will not revert to killing in under 0.8 seconds due to the increased player health pools, but we do want to give them a little more aggressiveness and encourage some additional variety among weapon choices. Got it? Weapons like adaptive and rapid-fire pulse rifles have come back to their standard optimal TTK, while most other weapons have moved within a single shot difference. While focusing, bringing on other archetypes up closer to the top level of primary weapon performance, we're going to be reducing hand cannon damage. Interesting. This will not affect their optimal TTK against standard resilience, but will instead act as a reduction in effective range and reduce their forgiveness and effectiveness against higher resilience targets. So there you go. Hand cannon's getting slightly adjusted for Checkmate. I'm sure people will be upset about it, but they're just trying to find a little bit more balance in the playlist. We look forward to playing with these changes in the live game alongside you, and we'll continue to iterate on the sandbox as needed. Here are the weapon changes coming to Checkmate next week. Increase the damage penalty on Devil's Ruin, Fighting Line, and bows. Reduce damage penalty on sidearms, submachine guns, and scout rifles. Increased bonus damage on auto rifles and pulse rifles from 0 to 2 and from 0 to 5 for pulses. And reduce bonus damage from hand cannons from 10 to 7. Got it. And they correct an issue that was allowing the Vexsmith class to benefit from damage bonus for special ammo fusion rifles. Very interesting. I did play a little bit of the playlist. I hopped in just to see what it was like. It was okay. It wasn't necessarily my favorite playlist ever, but I think a lot of people are having fun with it. Let me know if you're enjoying Checkmate and what do you think about the new changes. Are you salty? Are you happy? Next up, we have the player support report. If you haven't gotten your Crota's End 48-hour challenge emblem, it's not looking good. It's not looking good for you because they still do not have an exact date. They're just in the process of verifying who actually beat it and who didn't. I don't know what they're going to do. It seems like they're scrambling really, really hard for this, and I feel bad for those of you out there that actually beat the raid in time and didn't get your emblem. I had to beat it 3 times in order to get it to drop, so that's a big one. They got the list of known issues here and error codes and everything that are going on in the game. This is the usual movie of the week and artist of the week, all good stuff. Let me know your thoughts on this week's TWID. That's the big news update. Make sure to subscribe, smash the like button, and click on the screen here to watch another video from the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Later.